Greene, God bless you. Hope you're all having a great day. It is January 9th, 2026. It has been absolutely hot in the United States. A civil war breaks out in the USA just 9 days into the new year. Attacks on Venezuela, capturing, putting into bondage people like Nicolas Maduro, who was pictured in court with a NWO hand sign, his wife, who had the crap beat out of her, joining the Illuminati all-seeing eye, Black Eye Club, threats of Colombia, threats on Greenland, Canada, Mexico. The list goes on and on. Donald Trump has been dropping it like it's freaking hot in 2026. And this was expected. Again, we warned of this, that we were going to expect a lot of tumult in the United States. Now, ICE is going door to door in the United States like the SS, rounding up illegals and booting their butts out of the United States of America. Of course, we had the tragic event with the white woman. It's amazing. CNN won't admit she was white, but we know if she was black, it's all that they would be talking about. So it doesn't matter if you're black or white. I always loved Michael Jackson, or purple for that matter. But the mainstream media should still have the integrity to say it was a white woman, okay? So on the heels of that, the radical left, and the fire has now been stoked in the United States where protests are emerging nationwide. Now, again, I said that this was the setup. The National Guard, of course, was put into motion and placed by Donald Trump months ago on the heels of my very prescient prediction of the attack on the 3 nuclear proliferation sites of Iran. And I said the reason why they were doing that is preparing for martial law in the United States and world war worldwide, which is what we're seeing now with a Western versus Eastern hemisphere collapse and a multipolar world, and the end of the world hegemony, the end of the U.S. fake burning to the ground, lighted on fire, hyperinflationary, debt-ridden, wasteful U.S. dollar. A case in point that the U.S. national defense will be upping its military budget near $500 billion, $500 billion, and they're going to create that money from nothing, out of thin air. The President of the United States has also authorized massive hyperinflationary purchases of the debt market, targeting housing in the amount of $200 billion, and interest rate cuts, which will only make it easier to take more debt, pump prices higher, encourage the likelihood of defaults by the average homeowner in the United States that can't afford to own or buy a home. Again, Donald Trump's goal is not to bring down housing prices, it's to keep them elevated because it's a piggy bank for the baby boomers. It's a piggy bank, of course. It's how Wall Street runs, how all of this has been orchestrated. So he doesn't want to bring prices down. He just wants to increase the debt. By increasing the debt and then launching 50-year mortgages and 12-year car loans, it will lower the payment, sending prices much higher. By buying the bond market, it'll add artificial liquidity, pushing prices higher. By printing more dollars and debt backed by nothing, as the dollar collapses, it'll only push real asset prices higher. Food, air, water, services, healthcare. I mean, one of the few bright spots has been oil, but the reason for that is because we stole all of it from Venezuela. Again, understand how the world works. There are no laws. There are no rules. It is dictated by the power of a you-know-what, and who controls the largest and most powerful military in the world will seize, confiscate, and flat out steal, rig, and manipulate in any way that they see prudent to their own benefit. That's how the world has always worked for millennia. Nothing has ever changed. And again, the only thing that's changed is the idea that you live in a civilized society, even though it's not civilized at all. Again, the Epstein racketeers run and roam rampantly free to this very day. Dan Bongina has not released a single credible shred of evidence or inquisition, as he promised, into revealing the Epstein perpetrators and list. In fact, he says it's a nothing burger now. He says, don't look at it. He's calling you a cuck if you want it to be exposed at this point. So again, proving my point that the system is flawed. The system is rigged. Two-party politics are fake. And although I love and like the strongman policies of Donald Trump, as he's now going to offer $100K to Greenlanders, $100,000 from U.S. taxpayers, to buy their country. I was joking, should we all fly over there and establish residency real quick, take our 100K, and then reinvest it in Bitcoin? I mean, it sounds like a pretty good idea. Again, only stoking more hyperinflation. Folks, this is an economic collapse. This is world war. This is unconventional war. This is a war of drones filling your sky, AI and autonomous machines replacing all of your jobs, biologicals. In fact, I didn't even put this out on X because I've said it so much, but the Wall Street Journal came out with an article yesterday proving what I've said for years, that inside the Pokey is very small nanobot pieces of technology that you can't even see micro-threaded on a penny. And of course, they're spraying these chemicals in our sky and with the Pokey, and also in your food supply, which they've been poisoning for years, and other measures, have now unloaded these microscopic bots onto the human population. Again, there's a great Wall Street Journal article on it yesterday, but I was like, yeah, I've said it a million times. If people don't get it yet, I mean, they're just stupid, quite frankly. Just like I've been telling you to place your bets on Bitcoin now for multiple decades. Now, the fraud that is the U.S. stock market's up, pumping another 250 points. On what? Debt, bailouts, a rig job, hyperinflation, and a failed U.S. dollar. The bright spots continue to remain silver, gold. Although I think you should take some profits in your silver. I did at around $80. That was about a week and a half ago. And I still stand by that. I will take more profits if we hit 100. I will take more profits, another 25% DCA, realize that gain, if we hit 150, which we probably will. Again, the bright spots are real assets that have a real use case that aren't denominated in U.S. fake fiat currencies that they're getting rid of. They're transitioning you into stable coins. They're going to tether the digital dollar and the equivalent CBDC to a U.S. stable coin, as the United States government, hard-hitting it in your face, is now openly admitting, which a lot of people said this would never happen, but I told you that it would, as they are acquiring through direct confiscation, stealing, and a rig job other countries' Bitcoin as a part of their strategic reserves. Of course, they also confiscated FTX, which is a deep state CIA operation. Sam Bankman-Fried was a deep state CIA agent. They did that to push through regulation and to seize the Bitcoin. We also saw this with Mt. Gox, and we saw it with Silk Road. Again, the United States government doesn't need to pay for anything when it can steal it. And that's what governments do best. Again, your little feelers should be out, because these are all warning signs of what's to come. Massive martial law in the United States and the streets of America, civil unrest and, God forbid, potential riots that Elon Musk has warned about, confiscatory measures, capital controls, bank seizures. ATMs won't work. You won't be allowed to make a withdrawal, just like during the Great Depression. During an emergency, just like 2020, of which they printed 80% of the currency supply currently in circulation, which caused massive hyperinflation, there are no laws and are no rules. You will be banned from traveling. Your businesses will be shut. You will be cucked, and they will put the boot of tyranny on your neck, and they will crush it into the ground. And if you didn't learn anything from 2020, you ain't that smart. Again, nothing's changed in history, time immemorial. So what's happening now is what we predicted, a mass surveillance police state. Also, I want you to understand that the way that they will encroach on your freedom is through prohibition of activities, prohibition of freedom of movement. Let me ask you a question. Do you think your self-driving car will allow you to go anywhere you want in the future? Or will it restrict your movement? Oh, you're not allowed to go into this government zone. Oh, your house is on fire? Sorry, your car won't start because BlackRock's taking over everything and burning it to the ground, like we've seen across many different parts of the United States recently. The fires are not a coincidence. They have lasers beam down from the sky and blow stuff up. And then that way BlackRock and Blackstone can come in and rebuild it. Folks, you all know the truth. So understand that the way that they'll eliminate freedom is that you won't even be able to engage it. Your self-driving car won't allow you to cross into a certain location. It won't allow you to self-drive because you'll have no control over that car. The oligarchs will. Your all-seeing eye surveillance totalitarian government will. And it'll be no different here in the United States as it will be in Europe or any other part of the world. And that's how they're really going to encroach on all of our freedom, is you're just not going to be allowed to do things. Okay, your free will be removed. They'll say, oh no, you have freedom, but you'll be like, I'm trying to get into my self-driving car because you banned manual driving. And now I can't go to this place I want to go to because you've restricted and prohibited it based on the AI and the algorithm. They're going to do that with everything. Now, in the meantime, one thing the United States is very good at is coups. We saw a coup, for example, in Ukraine. The CIA and the deep state overthrew the Ukrainian government and the rightful Yanukovych government not too long ago and replaced it by a puppet who stole all your money and took all your taxpayer funds. His name is Vladimir Zelensky. He's an unelected leader who has refused a new election, who has stayed in power as a dictator in Ukraine. These are all facts. The Joe Biden poopy pants diarrhea administration funneled all those funds back into his drug addict prostitute son, Hunter. And that's all that happened. And now the United States, after many failed wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, also Ukraine, and other wars not too long ago, like Vietnam, for example, a waste of human life, and that was the intention. I want you to understand your government's goal was to waste human life. That is their goal. The goal of the Middle East, Iraq and Afghanistan, wasn't to bring in democracy and hope. No, it was to destabilize the region. That's the real goal. Just like the coup in Ukraine's goal was to destabilize Viktor Yanukovych. Look, when they took out Muammar Gaddafi, the whole place blew up in Libya. I mean, people were being beheaded left and right. When the United States went in and removed the Taliban, it was actually arguably worse. It turned into a brute force banana republic where the people on the ground and the local citizenry actually would prefer the Taliban to be in charge. And today, proving my point, the Taliban are still in charge. Again, the United States fails once again. But to my point, the next major geopolitical move is an attempt at a destabilizing effect of the Shah and a coup in Iran, which the United States will fail miserably, just like they've previously failed miserably, and just like they continue to rip you off with bailouts and lockdowns and hyperinflation. Again, who's paying for all these wars? You are. Does it sound like America first, or does it sound like America last? Now, look, I understand what Donald Trump is doing. I support the president of the United States. I pray for him every day. He is not a perfect vessel. I understand he is shoring up the Western Hemisphere, preparing for nukes. I get it. I understand Donald Trump's going to take every asset and resource that he possibly can before nukes. I get it. That we need Greenland and Canada and Mexico and Venezuela's goods and oil and Bitcoin. I understand. We're preparing in advance before the EMP hits. We're preparing before the drones invade our cities in America and attack. I fully understand what's at risk. Again, now would be an incredible time to load up on food and water and energy, decentralize yourself with other Christians, exit the banks before bank runs and capital controls, call an RSVP, into Deck 2 with my father, become one of our few hundred investors that will own the best real estate with no bank debt in the world, our sovereign new 1776 USA. We have made some really great updates to the website. You can see here that our $33.5 million fund, of course, is closed for the founders round. Congratulations to our 400 plus investors around the world who are absolutely dominating, living their investment with comp time, cash flows, large capital gains, and of course our 1000X token launch this year. Also, we've made some very big updates to our property portfolio. These are all properties that Island Project owns, averaging 5 million plus, all the way up to 15 to 20 million for some of our large estate trophy asset. I call them the Diamond Nuts Rolexes. You can view them here. And we are adding more properties as we speak. Also, we've made updates for the RSVP. You can see this here, Deck 2, the Hawaii flagship, the beautiful Kauai coast. And you can also read about RSVPing. And then, of course, RSVPing at 808-442-2934 with very handsome Papa John. Here, the Papa. There's the Papa. RSVP now and grow some diamond ovaries and diamond nuts. Don't be a gina like Dan Bongina. Grow some diamond balls and live your best life. Here at Hawaii Flagship Project 2. For those of you who don't know, it's a $50 million founders round. We are only accepting 100 investors accredited. It's a $200K minimum to get in. This includes 2 to 3 mega mansion retreats across Hawaii, targeting places like Mauna Kea and the Big Island, also Kauai, 1 to 2 international master retreats, and 5 high cash flow producing, amazing penthouses and condominiums like the one we already own here on Big Island. Let me show you here. This is our Big Island penthouse, and I've also included video walkthroughs for all of the beautiful pieces of real estate that we've already acquired with no bank debt. Again, you can view our huge inventory. You can also speak with my father at 808-442-2934. Now, Bitcoin is set to double. You need to be buying now. It's trading like a stable coin, but it will quickly double. You will watch a FOMO and a panic in. Again, the United States government, sovereign nation states around the world, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, and Tesla, the list goes on and on, are actually secretly buying Bitcoin now. BlackRock is stealing and confiscating all of your Bitcoin, just like they own the entire stock market and all the homes in the United States of America. Is it not time that the American people fight back peacefully? That you join the digital Noah's Ark now with your general? I was on a great run today. I encourage you to follow me at AMTV Media. Again, folks, discipline, hard work, and consistency will always beat talent. Know that and understand that. Just like I've been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin since under 1,000 multiple decades ago, nearly almost now, 16, 17 years, something like that. Sticking to the plan, dollar cost averaging, reallocating the portfolio, continuing to get rich. For the last over 3 years, since July 2022, launched July 4th, our 1776 of the Island Project Founders Round, we quickly acquired over $33.5 million of no bank debt assets, all on our website, like I just showed you, because we're kicking butt and taking no prisoners. See, we take our own advice. We dollar cost average in, we buy the best properties in the world, they hyperinflate, we enjoy them, we live our freaking investment. We pay the capital gains, 7 to 10 year time horizon. Average properties are going 5, 8%, double digits in some cases. You double your money over that time horizon, plus the cash flows, paying into your equity, comp time, 40% up to discounts on additional stays for everyone, including our 30K members in the original founders round. Our Deck 2 is, of course, a 200K minimum, targeting accredited and beautiful people from around the world, and also existing founders that are coming in with more money. Talk to my father about that. In fact, everyone that's come into the Island Project has come in with more. I can't tell you how many of our investor members who came in with 100K, 200K, then came in with 500 or $1 million, and I have investors all the way up to 2 million plus. Deck 2 will be 2 to 3 million plus. See our terms and must be approved by me personally and my team, because we are interviewing you to onboard the digital Noah's Ark as much as you are inquiring for the opportunity for yourself. So again, folks, stick to the plan here and trust the plan. Understand the overthrow. Don't be fooled by the elites. They are seizing all the world assets. They are collapsing the dollar, and they will reset us into a new Bretton Woods economic 3.0 standard. They will borrow against their oil reserves that they stole from Venezuela, and they will borrow against the fictitious Fort Knox gold reserves, which have not been audited at all. They will reprice gold and silver to buy more Bitcoin in a net neutral purchase. They will issue bit bonds or cryptocurrency bonds, issuing debt to acquire their precious Bitcoin. They will also tax the crap out of you for the rest of your life and accept Bitcoin for it. This is how the United States government will build its strategic reserves through outright net neutral purchases, direct confiscation, stealing, and an absolute confiscatory measure, as Scott Bessent has told all of us. Let me remind you, Scott Bessent was George Soros's right-hand man, collapsing the British sterling pound. And the collapse of the US dollar and the sovereignty of a world reserve here in the United States will be no different. Folks, understand this. They're stoking the Civil War by design, raising fears of an SS going door to door as ICE is on the manhunt, right? I want you to understand that there's design and intention behind that. Also encourage you to follow me on X for up-to-speed updates. For some reason, the video yesterday, I was unable to download and reshare it, so make sure you follow me on X and like and share this video. I love you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I've got big surprises and big news coming. It is an honor to serve. You are all loved, special. Jesus Christ is Lord. He is coming back soon. All those on the Epstein list, of course, will burn in hell. It is God that will bring our judgment. He, of course, is returning soon, and his return is imminent. Be ceaselessly in prayer. I encourage you to continue to exit the banks, join our world-class investment as your life depends on it, and get in. We will be announcing the live and operational event of Deck 2. And the way that you can get ahead of that and the stampede is I'm only letting in 100 people personally vetted by me, my team, and my amazing father, Papa John, is to RSVP with a quick text or phone call. Again, it's a 200K minimum all the way up to 2 to 3 million plus. Make sure you get in, see our terms and disclaimers. After you get in, immediately book your reservation and enjoy our amazing collection portfolio of properties. Share it with your wife, share it with your kids, share it with your grandchildren. Pay into your own equity. I am adding a fleet of private Learjets. We have lifted amazing Jeeps on every single location, including Park City, Utah. We already have our fleet of limousines and Black Ops transportation that picks up our members based on tier at the airport. And we take care of our people because I love you. And we're the good guys. And you're tuned into the Christian baller billionaire superclass. And Jesus Christ, we serve alone. Like, share, I want to hear your commentary, and keep your eye on Iran. Because the coup that the United States is attempting is in process now. The question is, will they be successful or will they fail? Is the current regime or the alleged regime, are they able to maintain order? What are they willing to do? When, and this is a question of when, not if, will China attack and take Taiwan? When will the EMP hit? When will that strike hit? When will the asymmetrics hit? When will the drones fill American cities? It's a question of when, not if. And how much time do you have left before the 2030 reset? The agenda of the cabal. I'm here to tell you, you don't have much time. 2026 is 1776. Get in today, diversify and decentralize, and get out of the dollar. Your life depends on it. And more importantly, get out of bank debt, because there is going to be a massive credit freeze, bank collapse, and capital control emergency executive order in the United States soon, probably driven by some kind of algorithmic inside job attack on the networks here in the United States. I expect a lot of calamity on Wall Street, and as quantum leaps occur, and the AI now, as Elon Musk has admitted, we're in the singularity, which I've told you years ago, had already happened, anything is possible. Again, it's going to be a hazardous journey ahead. And so it's important to, number one, play defense and also offense. Get your money out of the banks with no bank debt and the best asset in the world and a safe haven. Become your own bank with us at islandproject.com at 808-442-2934. And play the massive upside of large cash flows, large capital gains, see our terms, and 1000x tokenization that only my exclusive Deck 2 and existing founding members of Fund 1 will ever receive and participate in that equity IPO launch. It's icing on the cake, folks. It's beautiful. And we did that because I'm awesome, and so is my father. You're welcome. 1776, here at the digital Noah's Ark. Live your investment and grow those diamond nuts because you're going to the moon. Links down here and up here. God bless.